flower, in the seed an apple tree, in cocoons a hidden promise, butterflies will soon be free. In the cold and snow of winter, there's a spring that waits to be unrevealed until the season, something love alone can see. There's a song in every silence, seeking word and melody. There's a dawn for every darkness, bringing hope to you and me. From the past will come the future, what it holds a mystery, unrevealed until its season, something love alone can see.
Thank you, Julaine. And now from our welcoming trustee.
Yes. Good morning. Welcome to our service from the Unitarian Universalist Meeting House in Springfield, Vermont. We welcome everyone who zoomed in locally from Springfield or elsewhere in Vermont, as well as our extended community who are joining us from afar. We're very glad you're with us this morning. We are a community where we promise to care for and to learn from each other. Together, we seek to deepen and broaden our faith and understanding. Your joining us today will enrich our covenant and our ever-widening community. My name is Melissa McKenzie, and I'm one of the trustees. If you're a guest today, we invite you to simply enjoy being with us. You're also welcome to join us after the service for a virtual coffee hour discussion time. At the end of the service, there will be a time for announcements and an opportunity for guests to introduce themselves. Thank you.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Our opening words this morning are from Arundhati Roy. What is this thing that has happened to us? It is a virus, yes. And in and of itself, it holds no moral brief. But it is definitely more than a virus. It has made the mighty kneel and brought the world to a halt like nothing else could. Our minds are still racing back and forth, longing for a return to normality, trying to stitch our future to our past, and refusing to acknowledge the rupture. But the rupture exists. And in the midst of this terrible despair, it offers us a chance to rethink the doomsday machine we have built for ourselves. Nothing could be worse than a return to normality. Historically, pandemics have forced humans to break with the past and imagine their world anew. This one is no different. It is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next. We can choose to walk through it, dragging the carcasses of our prejudice and hatred, our avarice, our data banks and dead ideas, our dead rivers and smoky skies behind us, or we can walk through lightly with little luggage, ready to imagine a new world and ready to fight for it. Arundhati Roy.
It's time for our affirmation. Why are we here? Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve the needs of all beings, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with the source of our being.
So this is a story about our cemetery, our church cemetery, which is on a road just over the ridge from my house. It's on Parker Hill. So we call it Parker Hill. And Deb has a slideshow of some pictures of Parker Hill. And it's our tradition in, quote, normal times to have a church service there once a year in June, a very short service and a potluck. And so in 2018, we had a very short service, and you can see me pontificating there, and Hallie and Becky. And that one year, I asked everybody to think about what they would like to have in the world. What kind of future do you envision? And thanks to Diane Kemble, we have that list. She took notes, and here they are. We can travel anywhere safely. Strangers are welcome, and we share our cultures. Springfield manufactures biodegradable products. Ban plastic, grow hemp. Caring for the earth is second nature. There is a belief in a higher power. We think outside of ourselves. There is more civility in private and public discourse. We have patience. All children are loved and have all the resources to grow into the people they are meant to be. And let's not forget, and this last one from my granddaughter Tilia, ice cream is available 24/7. So I want us all to think about, when we are part of the talking circle, the council, that it can be lighthearted as well, such as ice cream available 24/7. Okay. Our first reading is from Yes Magazine, What an Ecological Civilization Looks Like. And this is from an article by Jeremy Lent, A Life-Affirming Civilization. An ecological civilization is both a new and ancient idea. While the notion of structuring human society on an ecological basis might seem radical, Indigenous peoples around the world have organized themselves from time immemorial on life-affirming principles. When Lakota communities on the land that is now the U.S. invoke Mitakwe Oyasin, we are all related, in ceremony, they are referring not just to themselves, but to all sentient beings. Buddhist, Taoist, and other philosophical and religious traditions have based much of their spiritual wisdom on the recognition of the deep interconnectedness of all things. And in modern times, a common thread linking progressive movements around the world is the commitment to a society that works for the flourishing of life rather than against it. And now we'll hear from Deb.
As we now come to rediscover what Indigenous people always knew, that their well-being was dependent on the well-being of their place, that is now true on a global scale. We are now a global species, and we have to find ways to manage our numbers and our ways of living in ways that are in balance with the living earth and its needs. Because if the needs of all of us as living beings are not being met, the earth loses its capacity to sustain life. Herein is a fundamental lesson of all this, that life, as we now have come to understand it, can only exist in communities that self-organize to create and maintain the condition of their own existence.
Deb, did you tell us who that was by?
Oh, sorry about that. That is by David Korten, who is one of the co-founders of Yes Magazine and has also written books on his own.
Thank you, Deb. And now we'll hear from Anne Marie.
The path to an ecological civilization is paved by reclaiming the commons, our common home, the earth, and the commons of the earth family, of which we are a part. Through reclaiming the commons, we can imagine possibly for our common future. And we can sow the seeds of abundance through commoning. In the commons, we care and share for the earth and each other. We are conscious of nature's ecological limits, which ensure her share of the gifts she creates goes back to her to sustain biodiversity and ecosystems. We are aware that all humans have a right to air, water, and food, and we feel responsible for the rights of future generations. Ecological civilization is based on the consciousness that we are part of the earth, not her masters, conquerors, or owners. That we are connected to all life, and that our life is dependent on others. From the air we breathe, to the water we drink, and the food we eat. All beings have a right to live. That is why I have participated in preparing this draft. A declaration of the rights of Mother Earth. The right to life of all beings is based on interconnectedness. The interconnectedness of life and the rights of Mother Earth, all beings, including human beings, is the ecological basis of the commons and economies based on sharing and caring. Reclaiming the common and creating an ecological civilization go hand in hand. And this is written by Vandana Shiva, also in the article in the Yes magazine.
Thank you, Anne Marie. And now we have a chant. Make sure you're all muted, and we will sing along with the virtual choir. Ancient Mother.
Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears.
Isn't it wonderful that we have a virtual choir that we can sing along with? I love that. Yay! So I want to introduce our talking council, Talking Stick Council, and say that just over a year ago, Suiko McCall, the abbess at the Art Monastery, led us in a service called The Council Fires Are Lit. So I'm picking up on that theme, and I have here 2 more little candles, which we are now lighting for the council fires being lit. And this is exciting. We all this morning get to do a new concept in council, and that is doing it on Zoom. You might imagine we've done it in the sanctuary and we pass a stick from person to person. You could imagine perhaps outside around a fire that we could pass a talking stick. And here we will do it in a slightly different way. I've asked for everyone to have a stick of some kind. Here's mine, a drumstick. And if you have remembered to bring one, you could hold it up maybe right now so we can see. If you haven't, perhaps you have a pencil or a pen nearby. And if you don't have that, guess what? You can use a finger and just hold it up when you're talking. So that is how we will actually each hold the talking stick while we talk. And of course, the way we do it is everyone remains silent while someone else has the talking stick. And then we'll pass it around virtually. And I will call on people as I see you. You can pass. What we're wanting here is for whatever is on your heart, inspired by what we have said so far, a brief statement of whatever you're feeling. If you are not ready to say anything, just pass. Indicate that you would like to remain silent, which is perfectly fine. I want to say that the list of things that we came up with at Parker Hill is very much like what we're doing today. It's a list of things we want for the future. We are looking forward. We are coming out of the pandemic. It's a gateway. And what would we want? What do we imagine?
I'm not really sure how we do this, but what's been most on my mind lately is generations of my family, but all families, and the beauty of people seeing people of different generations together and sharing their love, not only within the family but outside of the family, and being with young children and being with those who are older and wiser than us, and meshing that all together in one beautiful weave.
Thank you, Julaine. Next, Deb.
I want us to remember that we are all connected with Mother Earth, with all the animals, the plants, the trees, who are plants, and even the rocks, the water, everything, and with each other. And what affects one affects everybody else. And we need to start thinking and acting with that in mind.
Thank you, Deb. And next will be me. What I forgot is to do the invocation. So, adapted from John Seed from the book Thinking Like a Mountain. We ask for the presence of the spirit of Gaia and pray that the breath of life continues to caress this planet home. We ask the spirit of the four directions, north, south, east, and west, be with us here today. May we grow into true understanding, a deep understanding that inspires us to protect the tree on which we bloom and the water, soil, and atmosphere without which we have no existence. We ask for the presence of the spirit of Gaia to be with us here, to reveal to us all that we need to see for our own highest good and for the highest good of all. We call upon the spirit of evolution, the miraculous force that inspires rocks and dust to weave themselves into biology. You have stood by us for millions and billions of years. Do not forsake us now. Awaken in us the powers that we need to survive the present crisis and evolve into more eons on our solar journey. Fill us each with love for our true self, which includes all of the creatures and plants and landscapes of the world. Fill us with a powerful urge for the well-being and continual unfolding of this self. May we shine with an inner passion that will spread rapidly through these leaden times. O stars, lend us your burning passion. O silence, give weight to our voice. We ask for the presence of the spirit of Gaia. Next, Anne Marie.
So I am imagining the invitation to walk through the portal that opens us to this new space that is not the old normal, in which we know some things about, perhaps, and know others are great unknowns. And in the last little while, I've been receiving messages from my meditations that I need to pack my bag, metaphorically, and go back out into the world when I can, with some new tools and some new awareness and sensitivities. So I'm kind of packing my bag, and I'm trying to bring an open mind and an open heart and a lot of courage. Thank you.
Tony, you're up next.
I can't wait to share this with you. This is a talking stick that I made many years ago, and I've always wanted a chance to use it in a ceremony. But I only have a minute to talk, so I just wanted to share this. This is a long story. It's a long story, but I wanted to share this book with you. It's called Secrets of the Talking Jaguar. It's a long story about the indigenous soul that Martine Prichtel has talked about in many legends, and I think we are coming into that time of finding our indigenous soul. That we are all connected, and we have a past in indigenous history. Amen.
Thank you, Tony. Next, Chrissy.
From my apartment, I can see Taylor Park, which is a big green in downtown St. Albans. And it's full of trees and war memorials and a beautiful fountain. And every Saturday is a farmer's market that will be starting in May. And I'm looking forward to a time, some point this summer, when we don't have to wear masks and we can share our beautiful smiles on Saturdays and share the joy of being free of masks and seeing each other's faces. And I think I will be paying attention and really seeing those smiles and really seeing who is around me and to just take joy in being together with something as simple as going around and getting our veggies and chickens and meat from all the good farmers around here. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Thank you.
Thank you, Chrissy. Steve.
The words of the song this morning really spoke to me. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. And the two, then that we shall learn to lead with in love. It seems like leading and loving are the two. It's sort of where I'm called these days, is to just think about all the people around me, and I'm so ready to be with people in person instead of only on Zoom. Although more and more that's happening. Just yesterday, I was looking out the window and saw a neighbor walking on the street, and I went running outside, and we kept our distance, but got to see somebody in person and talk with them. But just to support people so that all of us can be leaders and all of us can be lovers. I think that's what it's about for me now. So thanks.
Thank you, Steve. And Darling.
Hi, Tina. My chopstick. The word that came up for me was humility. It just came up in my mind. And for me, that means many things. But one is the humility to actually put our feet on the ground and feel the connection. The ground is our mother, the earth, and to let go of greed and singularity, and as we were saying before, to be part of the common. But that takes humility. That takes softness and love.
Thank you, Anne. Jeff and Diane, you want to go next, and you can each take a turn.
Thank you. I guess I'll go first. This is a African cane walking stick, so now it'll be a talking stick as well. In our small group discussion in the last few weeks, we've been talking about the impact of this last year on our lives and what's important and what maybe is less important. So I've been thinking a lot about that and the importance of friends, family, and communities like this church community in our lives, to think for the future about focusing on the larger issues and not sweating the small stuff, not getting upset about relatively insignificant things that used to run our lives before. So that's my view to the future. Optimistic hope, and focusing on the important things. Diane.
Thank you, Jeff. And now Diane.
So my thoughts are that I anticipate excitement and getting together with family and friends again, and the frenzy of life. But I hope that from this quiet time that we've had in the last year, that we remember to look at the person that's talking to us, look them in the eye, listen to them, and hear all the different people that are trying to express their thoughts and feelings these days. That's all.
Thank you, Diane. Next, Dan.
Good morning. I guess I've been feeling very tired. And I think part of it is that everywhere I look, I can see things to worry about. And it's not only my ability, but apparently every news organization has got tons of things they would like you to worry about. And I guess I would hopefully look forward to some time in the future when there's not so much to worry about. That's my stick.
Okay, thank you, Dan. And Bob, I see you are prepping for something different. It's your turn.
So the closest thing I could find to a stick was my violin bow. And I look out my window here at my neighbor's yard, and my neighbors are lovely people. Their little boy just turned 11. And I dream for a day when we can talk with one another again in a civilized fashion. And so that my only contact with them is not to see on Facebook about what's wrong with this evil president we have now that's so much worse than the wonderful one we just lost. Yes. But I look for a day when we can be friends again.
Mm-hmm. May it be so. Thank you, Bob. Next, Lynn. Yes, you.
Here's my talking stick. It's my fairy wand. I want to point out what I want by speaking things I've experienced quite recently that I don't want. a couple weeks ago, I was sick for a couple days and I missed some work, and it was just a head cold, runny nose. But I'm firmly convinced that it was brought on by depressed immune system, by so much stress of everything that's been going on around me at home and at work, and everyone being so on edge all the time that it just finally wore me down. But when I went back to work, one of our managers said, "So you've been sick? Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm great. Do you think it was COVID related?" And I said, "No, it had nothing to do with that." And I told him my thoughts, and he said, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." So one of my wishes for that I'm looking forward to is for us to live in love, not fear, because there's been so much fear and angst that it's just wearing us all down. And that brings to mind a quote that I've shared recently on Facebook or someplace by Luna Lovegood, talking to Harry Potter about he who shall not be named. And she said, "Well, if I was, you know who, I would want you to feel alone because and separated, because if it's just you alone, you're not as much of a threat." So my other wish and dream for the future that I'm looking forward to is us coming together in groups and communities and supporting each other and loving each other, and coming from a place of, what do you need? How can I help? That's me.
So be it. Thank you, Lynn. Pat.
I have my pen says People's United. It's just from the bank. What I really hope for is that for every tree that's cut down, that many more will be planted, and that will, especially here in Vermont, that we'll have more and more trees. And I also personally am hoping that my front lawn will turn into a pollinator flower garden. I've been trying to grow flowers, and I've planted a couple of trees on the front because it's slanted. It's really useless lawn. And so that's what I'm really hoping, that maybe I can invite some of you over to see my wonderful garden in my front yard.
Lovely. Thank you, Pat. Tina, your turn. Tina, we can't hear you. You are muted, darling.
Yep. I've got my stone, my talking stone. Overall, I want for our country's divide to be healed. We need to do that. And I don't know how, but we'll put it out there and we'll hopefully get there. The other thing that I'm really, really hoping for is I can't wait to hug all of you guys, all of you. Big hugs, yes, to everybody. And the other thing is I cannot wait to have food with you guys again. I so miss coffee hour in person, potlucks with the corral. I'm speaking to Anne there. Just communal getting together, eating, drinking, loving, hugs. Amen.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you so much. Diane Kemble, that is.
Hi, everybody. I've got a piece of driftwood. Richard and I save driftwood wherever we go and find a good piece. I'm on a very practical level here. I am really looking forward to the very strong possibility that we could have our May festival again. We missed it last year, and that would be a gathering. And if I could put in an order for an absolutely beautiful day so that we can be outdoors, and that this is a way that we can see each other, and we can also invite the community in, and so they can find, we can just meet and talk with people. I am hoping for many plants that people will start and we can share, and also a chance to get rid of our stuff with our church flea market tables. So that's a noble goal, I think, and also maybe to get some fines, and to have some music, if not in person, that we can crank up some music inside and open the windows, and even have some food. So I think that we can do that safely as well. So Sharon and I have talked about this before, and Joanne, we've been in touch. So anyway, I think that we can do it, and that it would be a very positive, wonderful thing to do. May 22nd is the date. So just put that on your calendar, and we'll work out the details, and it can be a wonderful gathering, I think. Thanks.
We can start. Yay. Thank you, Diane. And next, Meredith. We can barely hear you, Meredith.
Oh, let me try.
Now we can hear you.
Oh, I must have been covering my speaker. So this is my piece of wood. It was a knot that was too beautiful to burn in the wood stove this winter. So I just keep it. And it's not like it would warm me up that much anyway. So my hope, and I do this every spring when the solstice comes around, I start counting the minutes of light. And I think we had 3 extra minutes today. I go online and I find out exactly when sunrise is, because I'm just so darned excited. It's been so dark. And it seemed like this year was snowier and colder for some reason. I was hanging out by myself. That could have been. So I'm really looking forward to counting the minutes. And I didn't know this till I started doing it about, 20 years ago. We don't just get 1 minute a day. Like some days we get 6 minutes and some days we get 2. But when I discovered we got like a whole 5 or extra 6 minutes, I got up extra early that morning so I could get every single minute and every single second of how much more light we're getting. And it already feels like a whole lot more light. And so that's my hope, is that as we turn the corner on year 2, that we get more light in our lives, we get more light in this process. I think we already have hope, we have light, we have some momentum that we didn't have. And the return of the light means the return of the warmth, and the return of the warmth means we can hang out outdoors a lot more while we wait for things to get safer. So that's my piece today.
Thank you, Meredith. Yes. Kelly.
Good morning. I chose a pencil because it has been so long since I have used a pencil for communication. I have been connected to my laptop, and for me, COVID, if anything, provided an expansion because my life has been bi-coastal for more than 5 years. And I was always absent when there were in-person gatherings when I was at the wrong coast. So in many ways, this has been a year of opportunity to come further together. And I don't really see that this year is a specific portal, but every year and marking the time going forward. And I really wasn't ready when we came here thinking about sharing the challenges that I'm facing going forward, but you nailed it, talking about last time outdoors when you said all children are loved and have the resources to grow to the people they are meant to be. And that's really been the challenge of working together to recognize that for some of the issues. And ice cream is available 24/7. We have a Sackheim tradition, and my daughter, son, and I, in December of 2019, after deciding in October, now all have ice cream compass tattoos to lead us to where we need to go, tattooed. Mine happens to be on my shoulder, and so this was just a wonderful acknowledgement that we've had another milestone and are successfully walking through this portal with you, my new community, since it was born with COVID. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kelly. Wonderful. Joanne.
This is my talking stick. It's an architect's ruler. And I use this often to design things according to the scales and so on. And, and my vision for the future has to do with family and the way a family is built, the architecture of a family. And I think centuries ago, a family unit was so that when the parents became the old people, they were not sent off to a rehab hospital or a senior center or anything like that. They were at home with their family and cared for by their family. And they were also available to take care of the children when the parents had to go to work. And that is so valuable because the senior citizens, the grandparents, have so much to offer to the younger ones. Their wisdom, they have stories to share, they have games to play, they have cookies to bake, whatever. And we seem to have lost that somewhere in our modern world in the way we've been living. No one has time to take care of the older people, and then they scurry around trying to find a place to put their children in daycare. And if the family, I'm hoping that through this pandemic, we've really learned to treasure our families and to see the strength that a family as a unit has and not to lose that. The end.
Thank you, Joanne. Melissa.
I don't have anything profound to impart, but I do feel that after this past several years of everything being negative and hyped up and people so angry at each other sometimes, that we're getting a more positive era now. And for myself, I think particularly, I keep thinking of the symbolism of a prism, that you don't just turn it like a top. It refracts very slowly. And every time the light changes, you see something else. And we've seen it, I think, with Black Lives Matter. There's some huge issues like immigration, not just ours, but all over the world. It's a huge, I mean, I can visualize it in the history books 500 years ago, talking about the beginning of the great waves or something like that. We find in a sci-fi novel, but I think we're on the cusp of that. And so there's so many issues like that. So I just hope that as the prism turns, that I can turn with it. That's all. Thank you. Oh, that was my little stick.
Thank you, Melissa. Erica Mitchell, you're welcome to unmute and share.
That's Seth.
Oh, that's Seth, right. Seth. Seth, are you there? I think he may not be near his...
Probably baking bread.
Yes, probably. Seth, if you show up and show us your video, then we'll give you a chance. Next, you'll notice we have a guest, Catherine Winthrop, familiarly known as Kitsy, is joining us, Tina Findell, by speakerphone. Kitsy, would you like to say something?
This has been a wonderful experience. I've enjoyed every minute, and it's great to see so many new faces. And Sharon, you're doing a fabulous job.
Thanks, Kitsy. Glad you're here. We hope to be actually seeing her on Zoom at some point. Okay, thanks, Kitsy. Okay, and then we have Lindsay. Lindsay, would you like to say a word or two?
Sure. Thanks, Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
I feel I have a lot of wishes and prayers, but I think I echo that something that really weighs in my heart is just seeing how much is motivated by fear. And my prayers are that we remember our humanity, and in that way, that what Deb was saying, how everything, we all affect one another and all sentient beings. And so part of, I think, what's getting perhaps dismantled or trying to is our urgency and our fear, and how much that dictates our actions and how we live our life. And my prayers are that that can shift to more of a solid mountain and more compassion and acceptance of one another, and not just like believing what we're told and the hectic day-to-day of the machine. I haven't been working for a year now for the first time in over 2 decades, and it's incredible how different I feel. My energy is so much more grounded, and I feel so much more capable of being a better human being. And I know that's a privilege not to work, and I'll have to return, but I'm just talking about this pace, being mindful of our pace and the mindful of the ways we treat our body and treat ourselves, and give in to hate or give in to fear or what we're being told. And it's like, you are a child of the mother, trust your instincts. We're given everything that we have, for good reason. So thank you all.
Thank you, Lindsay. Well, thank you all so much for sharing from your heart.
Seth is back.
Seth is back, and he said in the chat that he would pass.
Okay, sorry, Sharon.
Yeah, that's all right. It's good to know. These are wonderful. Deb has been recording everything, So we have this, what we have all shared. And so now we bring this council to a close. We thank the four directions. We thank the spirit of all beings that has been with us here in this sacred time. And now we get to hear a wonderful anthem that the virtual choir and Julaine have prepared. Our closing words are by Christine Hanna. When my anger, frustration, and fear begin to cross over into hate, Martin Luther King's words help bring me back. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. In this collective work of transformational change, love is the force behind so many things. Love is clear-eyed acknowledgement of things as they really are. Love is holding on to a vision of something better. Love is courage to do the right thing, even when it's hard. Love is faith that things can change. And as Martin Luther King said, faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. I will blow out this candle, but not the light of community, which we have here in abundance today. And